They say that real gamers know gamers. And in this case, I'd say they're correct. The Ayaneo AG01 Graphics Starship eGPU, that is a mouthful. Here we have a Radeon RX 7600M XT inside of a vessel, of a ship, a starship, multifunction graphics dock. I don't know what to call this thing. Anyways, look at this thing. This is something that I would have probably designed when I was 14, maybe? I mean, it's a, like, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying, like, teenage me would have just gone nuts for this. This is so cool looking, like something you see in, like, Unreal Tournament or something. I'm excited to talk with this. Ayaneo sent this for review along with the Ayaneo 2S. It's over there somewhere. I want to see if it's worth your hard-earned dollars in today's video. All right. Let's ship out and ship in. Let me begin. So there's a lot to talk about with this bad boy. Right out the gate, we are looking at a number of features here, including romantic and dazzling RGB lighting. Lighting aside, there is two settings for this. So you have a 100-watt default, and then you have a 120-watt option you can bump it up to. They have what they call a high-end metal body. It does feel premium, and there are a number of different features and things in here. So let's just take this out of the box. There we go. Look at that. It comes with the Oculink cable. These things never come with Oculink cables. Now, having an Oculink device is, that's a little bit more rare, and I don't have one on hand today. So we're going to be testing through the USB 4, the Thunderbolt, on a number of different devices here. But looking at this thing, so we have a display port, a second display port, HDMI, a second HDMI, Oculink port, USB 4, DC in, which comes with a 330 watt GAN charger here with different country attachments. Look at this thing. It's freaking huge. It's a honker. Now you also have RJ45 Ethernet and USB 3.2 in a USB-A form factor. Looking along the bottom, here we have a slot there for a 2280 NVMe SSD. I am crazy enough to put in a 4 terabyte. Here's my Samsung Evo Plus. And then along the side even, look at this. Pull away this little rubber thing here. And you actually have more storage. You have a full-size SD card. So I went ahead and put in a 2 terabyte SD card in here. Why not? 6 terabytes on tap with your eGPU. Now I know that the new 7800M XT is all the rage now, and it's making the rounds in some new and upcoming cards, and so this one is a little bit behind as far as graphics power, but it's no slouch, coming in at a 6 nanometer process, RDNA 3 architecture, 32 compute units, 64 grading units, 2048 stream processors, 32 megabyte AMD Infinity Cache technology, 2300 megahertz game frequency, 100 watt / 120 watt dual gear TGP, and you can switch between those here with this little dial on the front, super neat. 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, 128-bit memory interface, 18 gigabit per second memory speed, and 288 gigabit per second memory bandwidth. Woo! And this is decked out, of course, with RGB lighting. You can configure this and have it change how you will. There's actually 2 little buttons on the front here that lets you switch between different lighting modes. You can even hold the button on the top there and turn off lights completely if you want, or cycle through the different options. I like this kind of red hue here, so we're going to stick with that today. Now, as far as cooling goes, so here on the bottom you can see there's the exhaust, just like an actual spaceship. Now on the bottom they say this film can be removed and is just for protection. As I was testing, it was getting hotter. The paper did start to come off, and so I'm just going to pull that off. Now, finally, ooh, satisfying. Oh yeah, look at that. Whoa. Oh, it's still left a little bit of a... Oh. There we go. Look at that. Likewise, we have a sticker there for the NVMe. Going to take that off too. So let's go ahead and put our 4 terabyte in here. and we'll put our micro SD card in there, and we're going to test out with some different devices. Now, I've always wondered, how big of a difference does having an eGPU make? I figured, well, these handhelds, really are meant to be handhelds. Once you dock it with stuff and you're plugging in external graphics and all that, like at that point, don't you just want to use a computer or a laptop or just a full console that's connected to your TV? What's the point of this? But the results actually were kind of shocking, even for USB 4 Thunderbolt. I figured I really need an Oculink device to get the full benefit, which you do technically. But basically what I experienced with this is every single game that I fed it that wasn't able to hit 60 FPS on its own on the handheld, as soon as I plugged this thing in, launched the game, bam, I got 60 FPS gameplay. I like playing at 60 FPS. It's very fluid. It feels very good. And so that's where I like to hit. Often on these handhelds, I need to drop the resolution to like 720p, turn on things like variable resolution. So, the graphics aren't looking quite as good, but at least it's running very smooth. And so just having the option to, press a button and go boop, spin up the power, and then, yeah, we are cooking. We're flying at 60 FPS, even 120 in some cases. It's been a lot of fun. So the main handheld that I was sent for review here, along with this, was the Ayaneo 2S. And I have a feeling why. A unique feature I saw on here was that when you press the button on here, this is super cool, it changes the light on the Starship and the handheld's LEDs to match, letting you know, hey, it's connected, you're powered on. Now, the first handheld that I used was the Ayaneo 2S here, and it didn't work right off the bat. I was like, what in the world? And so I'm like, what drivers do you need? I went to the website here, and I looked, and it says in the instruction manual, go to the website, get the drivers. Well, it turns out you just need the iSpace and the AMD Adrenalin drivers installed. These are both already installed on here, and actually is working, but I wasn't seeing the hard drive show up. And so what you have to do here is, if you get a new drive in here, you actually have to go to My Computer, go to Manage, go in, and format the drive. So I went ahead and formatted the drive, got my 4 terabytes, great. Same thing with your SD card. Although in my case, the SD card just showed up. But that wasn't the case across the board. For instance, when I was trying on the MSI Claw 7 AI Plus, nothing was showing up. I couldn't get anything to work. But the original Claw, my tried and true Claw, worked flawless. Didn't even install AMD software, nothing. There's no drivers, nothing. Just plugged it in, it worked. Hard drive showed up. I was playing some Watch Dogs here, and you can just see the jump in performance. Now I've maxed out all the graphics here, as high as I can go on Watch Dogs. It's an older game, but still, I was struggling. Look at the frame rate right here. I plug it in, and now you can't just plug it in. It's not just going to work. You have to actually quit the game, come back into the game. Once the eGPU is turned on, relaunch the game. Okay, it sees it, cool. Super easy. The next handheld I tried was the Ayaneo Kun, and on the Kun, it just worked. It just literally, you plug it in, press the button, your hard drives are there, your SD card's there, it shows this little tray icon saying, hey, it's ready to go, and it shows you what app you're running, and so you can just start playing games. And the change is just very apparent. So now we're hitting 60 FPS, or very close to it in most cases. Fluid gameplay, and now it takes some of the heat off the handhelds. The handheld's not having to struggle as much. It's not using its iGPU. And the heat and temps aren't too bad. Here's a quick reading. The highest I ever saw was hitting 50 Celsius at the very, very, very top end after I'd been running this for hours. And I've been messing with this thing all freaking day. I've been having so much fun with it. And the noise, surprisingly, does not get too loud. So here's a quick listen with the mic. That's about as loud as the fans get on this eGPU. But it was great on the Claw. On the Claw 7 AI, I've been trying it here with a few different games, and it's just no good. Contrast that with the Kun here, where it just works, and playing some Death Stranding, trying to max out the graphics as much as I can here, doing the full resolution of this thing, which is pretty nuts. I just want to hit 60 though. I think I have like medium to high graphics settings there. Again, not struggling to keep up. Plug it in, bam, the difference is very apparent. I'm hitting 60 FPS. We are good to go. But overall, I would say the best experience is with the Ayaneo 2S. Now, this is the first time that I've used this handheld, and it looks very similar to the Pocket Evo, right? But it's a little bit bigger, and the dimensions aren't exactly the same, but the design style is exactly the same, and there's a lot of similarities between them. I enjoyed the 2S here while I've been testing it. It's an 8840U variant here, and it's worked fairly well on its own and been able to play well, but really demanding games like Battlefield 2042, which is so tough to get to run full speed. Once again, struggling to keep up, turn it on, boom, I'm hitting 60 FPS, and we're at full resolution, and we are at medium to high graphics settings. Likewise with Hogwarts Legacy. Struggling a bit, turn it on, and look at this. Flawless victory. That's not all. I wanted to also benchmark and see, so here we're going to do some Time Spy Extreme benchmarking. We're going to look at the eGPU on its own, and there you go. Pretty capable, pretty handy graphics card. Now they say the AG01 body is covered with a passive heat dissipation hole, so that forms a strong air duct with a large area of heat dissipation. Okay. And again, it makes sense because it's not getting that hot. If you have an Oculink handheld, I think that's where this really is going to come into play. And again, you can use this whole situation to you can create full computer experience with this dock, with all the storage. I mean, I went to town here, and then I not only added, 4 terabytes plus the 2 terabytes in the SD card on the Kun here. This Kun has 4 terabytes already, so now we're looking at 10 terabytes total in this thing. And then I went ahead and added a 1.5 terabyte SD card into the Kun. So we're looking at almost 12 terabytes of storage. I mean, this could be my one and done. This is a NAS, this is a computer, this is maybe all I would ever need. And if you're wondering on specs, that 2280 is at a PCIe 3.0 speed. So you don't need to get the craziest, latest, greatest and spend a bunch of money. And the USB 4 port here gives us 40 gigabits per second, supports 100 watts power delivery reverse power supply. But yeah, no matter what game I tried, I just got 60 FPS. And so it's my 60 FPS box. You want 60 FPS? Plug in the Starship. Not every handheld I have, though, worked with it. For instance, the Steam Deck. No surprise there, I suppose. I also tried it with the R36S from Game Console, and for some reason it didn't work. I don't know why. I was really hoping to get a full 120 FPS in Pepsi Man, but oh well. As far as weight goes on this, it's 966 grams. It's actually not too heavy. You could throw this in your backpack. You could take it with you. It is large, but it's not pocketable or anything, but I would say it is portable. The only thing that's not portable is frickin' GON charger. Look at this honker. What the hell? This frickin' thing is huge. But it works well. A nice long cable. I appreciate that it has the standard plug there, so you can just plug in a standard power cord and extend it even further. So, what do you call this thing? That thing, Yeah, it has a bunch of tricks up its sleeve. It's really cool, and I'm definitely kind of turned on now to eGPUs. I'm going to be keeping my eye out for more and comparing this maybe with the 7800 model and seeing how that compares. But I'm very impressed with this. This is, you want 60 FPS, plug it in. You want 6 terabytes of storage, plug it in, plug it in, plug it in. So if you want to purchase this, it's available on Ayaneo's website. Currently, they only have the Nebula Red model, and it retails for $599 USD. So that is comparable to other 7600M XT eGPUs. And I was about to buy one of these anyways. I was going to get the 1X Player one. What was that? The 1X GPU. And now they have the new 1X GPU 2. $1,000. That's pricey. But their other one is $699. So this is actually $100 cheaper than that. The only other one I'm seeing is, GPD's G1, also for $699. So this really, as far as I can tell, is the cheapest of these all-in-ones. The other option, of course, is you can get yourself a little adapter thing. You can get your own graphics card, put it in there, and Bob's your uncle. But this thing's solid. Well, let's wrap up. What did you all think of the Starship AG01 from Ayaneo? Is this one that you need in your collection, or do you want to just leave handhelds as handhelds? Most of the time, I would say you don't need an eGPU, but if you're looking for a new desktop PC and you really love handhelds and you maybe have just one Windows handheld that you adore so much, this will turn it into a PC basically. With the dock, with the storage, $599. I don't know. Now I'm new to this world and I'm exploring it, and so stay tuned for more thoughts on all this stuff. For now, I'm very impressed with this. I'm gonna keep playing with it, and it's a cool thing to add to the arsenal. I can test it out with mini PCs, I can test it out with Windows handhelds. I don't know that I can use it with anything else. And there were a few funky caveats, like the hard drive kept disappearing, especially on the MSI Claw, and I believe I just needed to reseat that hard drive, and that fixed the issue. But beyond that, everything else worked fairly seamlessly. It was surprisingly easy. Rarely did I have to install anything, and yeah, it all just kind of worked. No real complaints there. You can just plug in all the monitors. I could have a battle station of monitors with this, and I can't wait to play with the Oculink port. So cool. So freaking cool. So freaking cool. Alright everybody, that's all I have to say about this. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds and eGPUs. And a special thanks once again to our patrons, our members, and our subs. You make everything here possible for us. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. You can join us in our Discord to chat and play games, and join me very shortly where we are going to be chatting about the MSI Claw 7 AI Plus in our weekly podcast on Mondays. Check that out as well. But until then, this has been Stubbs with RH. Take care of those handhelds, everybody. And starships. And each other.